There's hardly a business in Connecticut that hasn't been impacted negatively by the pandemic, and that, of course, affects employees as well.
Joining us this morning, Chris DiPentima, President and CTO of the Connecticut Business and Industry Association, and Beverley Brakeman, Director of Region 9A of the United Auto Workers.
Welcome to both of you. Thank you so much for being here. And Chris, as the new CEO, Mr. DiPentima of the CBIA, can you give us a sense of the mindset of business leaders in the state?
Yeah, it's a broad range of feedback right now. I've been fortunate in the 4 months since I took over from my predecessor, Joe Brennan, to meet hundreds, if not thousands, of business leaders, employees, and various organizations across the state. And I'd say, Doobie, if we ask 10, we'd probably get 10 different answers. It's a very wide spectrum, ranging from obviously, very concerned. Some folks have gone out of business and are unemployed. We know we had record unemployment in the spring where we lost 300,000 jobs. We've been fortunate that our recovery has been stronger than most in the nation, and we've recovered 200,000 of those jobs, although we did just have a slight setback with the November jobs that came out this week. And then you've got businesses who are busier than they've ever been, having record years, especially in the defense manufacturing sector, our medical device sector, certainly biopharma. Pfizer has been making a lot of headlines this week and the weeks leading up to it. Even some of our consumer products, people who are making personal protective equipment and cleaning supplies for COVID, just having very busy years. So it's a very broad spectrum, and that just shows the diversity that we have here in Connecticut in our industry sectors.
Right. Thank you. Ms. Brakeman, same question for you. The mood of the people that you represent in your union.
Yeah, so thank you both for having us on today. Just a little bit, UAW, we're the auto workers, but we're actually very diverse. We represent casino dealers at Foxwoods, manufacturing, aerospace, marine draftsmen and women at Electric Boat, legal services, attorneys, and academic workers. So across the board, I would agree with Chris, exhausted, scared, fearful, and uncertain. Just, you may know from the reports that have been out, Foxwoods, about half of the dealers now have entered into a severance agreement with Foxwoods. So lots of uncertainty there. Academic student workers at University of Connecticut are dealing with hiring freezes and having to, sort of switch on a dime from classroom work to online. So I would agree with Chris. It's a whole range, but overall exhausted, exasperated, and scared.
Ms. Brakeman, do you see some of the changes that your workers are dealing with and probably helping to innovate? Do you see some of those continuing into the future?
I do, actually. One, probably a really good example across the board, social distancing, plexiglass, masks, I could see happening for a long time. Some of our manufacturers have done tremendous work. Foxwoods, when they opened up in June, I actually got a chance to go down there with our health and safety committee, and they've done a terrific job with plexiglass in between all of the table games and where people are sitting for the slot machines. And I think a lot of that will continue. And one thing I will say that's been very positive for our casino dealers is there's no smoking in the casino. And that is something that our union has fought very strongly for in a long time. And it's such a much healthier environment for them overall.
Mr. DiPentima, same question. Changes that were caused by the pandemic that may continue?
Yeah, I think there's certainly quite a few. As Beverley mentioned, just the pivoting that our manufacturers did to make personal protective equipment was truly amazing in the state. I was in the manufacturing sector for 18 years before joining CBIA, and I saw innovation over the past 12 months, 9 months since the pandemic hit us that's just been second to none. And that's inherent in a lot of our businesses in Connecticut. We're very innovative, and obviously we found out we're very resilient. I think some other things that will last, certainly through 2021 and beyond, we all know telecommuting has become a way of life. Businesses will continue to try to pivot and develop workplace guidelines where they can accommodate telecommuting. It's been seen as a way to recruit and retain our younger workers and talent in general. And leading into the pandemic, we certainly had a workforce crises where we just couldn't find enough skilled workers. There's been a few other things caused by the pandemic. We've obviously seen a lot of people move out of our larger cities, New York and Boston, and into our suburban rural areas of Connecticut. But we've done well in our urban areas as well. And I think our smaller urban towns and cities in Connecticut will really be embraced for years to come. And it's one of the reasons why we are leading the recovery, and we have so much optimism for 2021. It's also critical reasons behind our infrastructure and transportation plans that we need. And then lastly, we saw a lot around workforce development, even though there was record unemployment and maybe not the workforce demands that we had going into the pandemic. We saw a lot from the administration around workforce development policy priorities that will continue in 21, which is great. We've got to keep our foot on that gas during this time to make sure we come out stronger and better than we were going in, and we can fill the skilled labor jobs.
Ms. Brakeman, you represent manufacturing workers. Do they have the same optimism that Mr. DiPentima has for manufacturing in Connecticut?
I think everybody's looking forward to 2021, but I think, this pandemic has, really reinforced for us the value of having a union and strong health and safety committees, because there's been a lot of grievances. There's been a lot of discussions between the employer and the employees about being safe at work, and we've had good success with that. So I think they're optimistic. They want everything back to normal, and they would like some job security. But it's been real challenging for sure.
Mr. DiPentima, Ms. Brakeman, thank you very much for joining us on this first edition of Face the State for 2021. When Face the State returns, are there any silver linings from the pandemic when it comes to education, or have students at all grades fallen behind?